Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sharing Life Issues with Her Excellency Hajia Ami. I'm just waiting for the guest speaker to join in. So bear with me and we will take it from there. All right. I'm just communicating with her right now. I'm communicating with my baddest doctor, Dr. Cynthia. So I'm just waiting for her to join in. Bear with us. All right, let me just check one more thing and see. Okay, there she comes. Hey, let me do my dance for you. All right, let me cut it out. We have the baddest doctor here, Dr. Cynthia. Welcome to Sharing Life with Her Excellency Hajia Ami. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. I know it's evening in UK, so you can go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Cynthia. Good evening, everyone, and I'm so happy to be on the show.
Thank you. We're glad having you here to help us
Thank
out
you.
discussing about depression and mental health, because a lot of people are going through that. And I realized that a lot of our community cannot afford to go into therapy, or some cannot afford to speak to a doctor. So that's why Sharing Life Issues with Her Excellency Hajia decided to bring this baddest doctor, the international doctor, my personal doctor, that's my doctor. So that way she can also educate you guys so you guys can be safe. Because I know depression, we have depression in different forms. Some people get it from relationships, some people get it from jobs, families, you name it. So I would give the chance to Dr. Cynthia to go ahead and educate us about depression and mental health today.
Well, Her Excellency, I think you've said it all. So, like we all say, day to day, everyone mentions, oh, I'm feeling depressed. But it's so easy to say, but there is actually something called clinical depression. From time to time, we get pitfalls, we feel unhappy, we feel disappointed when things like life events happen, like you've mentioned. If you're going through divorce, if you're going through bereavement, commonly, and just things generally. You've lost your job, so it's very easy to get in that stage. But what makes normal say of feeling low different from clinically depressed. So there are few things we look at as clinicians when people do come to us saying, "Oh, doctor, I'm feeling very low and I think I'm depressed." We tend to take a good history. So basically, we need to listen. So in order for patients to open up to us, we have to be seen to listen to them. It's a very difficult task because most times we're just preoccupied with, oh, their physical illness, and we tend to neglect their mental health. We're like, okay, you're having pain. Maybe that's why you're feeling low. Take this medication. So it comes to giving them too much medications and just forgetting about their mental health. Or sometimes patients are just ignorant. They really can't, they don't know they're depressed. They've never heard about it. And they're just like, okay, maybe it's actually the pain I'm going through that is making me feel this way.
But I was about to jump in there too. Or sometimes the fear of saying I'm depressed because of the way the society looks at it. Like you're a failure when you say you're depressed. Or,
sure.
Oh, you have mental health issues. Oh,
yes.
You're going through that. Oh, please, I don't want you around me, you know? So sorry, I just
So
had to put that in.
stigmatization is a big thing. So people tend to just internalize it because, like you rightly said, Her Excellency, they feel we are bad, we are not good, and we can't get any help. But it's a good thing you've mentioned we should have this talk because it just helps to educate people. So, like I was saying, lowness in mood, and they're like, oh, my sleep is actually disturbed. Doctor, I'm not sleeping. I wake up early, I'm disturbed. Okay. My appetite, I have no appetite to eat. I get the feeling of worthlessness. So they start getting these thoughts of life is worthless. There's no point in them living. They are better off dead. So this is when we worry. We say, okay, you have all these thoughts. Any thought of you actually carrying it out, then we know we're getting to another stage that would need medication. But like we rightly said, so sometimes medication is not everything. Simply listening to people talk, like we say, only a person can change a person. So having the mindset, letting them vomit all they feel, and just that thing of not judging them helps. That is psychotherapy on its own. Like that is good therapeutic measure. So so that's just basically it. So it's just reaching out to people, knowing when people are depressed and taking them, helping them, holding their hands and telling them, you know what, you can actually get help and you can actually speak to people. And if it's so bad, you might need medication to help you out. Yes.
So when
What were
it
you going to
comes
say?
to like the African society, I come from
Yeah.
two different cultures, and I say you come from another culture. You're from Nigeria, you're from the UK. I'm from Nigeria, and I'm from America. With the American culture, it's easier to get help. Why do I say that? Because you're being taught that it's okay to speak. But with the Nigerian culture, it's like they look at you. Would I say most people? Yes, now there's the awareness of people speaking. However, we do not have that much awareness because people are then classified as a failure when they do speak. So, what are the best ways to seek help? Because even with the sharing life issues with Her Excellency Haji Ami that I opened, I realized that a lot of people are in denial because I'll be speaking to someone and I do know that she's really depressed or he is really depressed. But the only thing they're concerned about is about people not finding out about what's going on with them. So it's like people forget about even caring about their mental health. All they're caring about is what if people find out? What would what would I do? So how do we cope with things like this as a medical doctor? Maybe there would be ways to help.
So going in the line of if these people do have jobs, because most times when we see patients, they're getting stressed at work. So there are
Right.
people called, at least at job places, I think the government should try and incorporate like occupational therapists where people
Okay.
can go and really have a chat and say, I'm actually feeling this way. Can I seek help? Can you? They open up. So there's always someone there, like a guardian, like a counselor at
Okay.
job places. And then within the family, family therapy is something worth talking about. So like, we're from different religions. People are Christians, people are
Right.
Muslims. So if these things are taught in our places of worship, first of all, people tend to listen to religious bodies or religious figures, right? So
Right.
if the imam, if the priest, if the pastors take out time to enlighten people and say, you know what, not everything is spiritual. Some
Right.
things are actually with mental health, and it's what you always seeking help from a doctor. So that would also help in enlightening people, because there's very little we can do. It's very
Right.
easy for us to sit down here and talk about these things, but people in higher places should put things in place to
Right.
help the community as a whole.
So when we say pastor and imam, I'm sorry to
Yeah.
say, I would say this. I would say that I've seen more people open up to these people and get even more harmed. Sorry, I have to nail it the way I have to, say it as it
Yeah.
is. I'm unapologetic and I have to say it the way it is, especially in our society. So I see people coming, opening up to the pastor or imam. The next thing they tell them, yeah, sometimes it could be spiritual, yes.
Or
However,
fact.
then they start using their story as a sermon in the church or at the mosque. So these are ways that, people tend to not even want to talk about it because it's like somebody coming and preaching with somebody's story. I've shared life issues with Her Excellency Haji Ami. Everybody knows we talk about real life stories. So it's not like we're coming here to gossip about people. We're coming here to educate the society about the ills happening out there that some people are not aware of, to save people from harm. Because there are some people that are harming people that are top, officials there that nobody is able to face them. I do see questions coming in. I'll check that out later on. Keep sending in your questions. These people feel I'm untouchable. Nobody can tell my story. Oh, no, I can tell your story. I will tell your story if it's a true life story. I'm sorry. If it's something to save somebody, we have to tell your story. So when we find things like that, I find I told a story here. It was about a pastor's wife, and later on, she was one that told me what went on. And of course, we do our investigations before we do things. I checked everything. It was back in Nigeria. She was fine with that. The kids were traumatized. You needed to hear kids crying, calling me to save their mom, to rescue their mom. And at the end of the day, she felt okay. She felt better. But then later on, she started getting scared about, oh, what will the other pastors say? Because now they know it's
Mhm.
a story. So I'm like, okay, that's the problem. If we keep enabling these people, then it will keep happening. Now, am I saying that you should open your home out there? No, but if there is domestic violence or there's some toxic thing going on, you have to open up. I do not believe in the saying that, oh, you're not supposed to tell anybody anything that is going on in your family. That's why people are dying. We've seen women die, we've seen men die. When you go through my, uh, what do you call it, my YouTube, men crying about depression, men crying about how toxic their wives are. So I'm sorry to say that I feel like the imams, the pastors are not doing enough. And if you're hearing me, I will say it again. Maybe it's time that they start inviting people, inviting medical people, or they don't even have to invite medical people. We have a lot of people that are medical
Yeah.
people that are already doctors in the church,
Mhm.
mosques. We have a lot of clinicians. Why don't we use things like that? Why don't we use people like that? Why is it that we only do stupid things? Because sometimes I have suggested things at my own mosques before, having a food pantry, here in Boston, Massachusetts. But to my surprise, it will be better off to have the money than to have a food pantry, whereby I suggested that we have that food pantry and we do not have to have anyone knowing who is taking anything from there. Anyone can just go there. Because that's the thing, is this shame that make people die. Oh, who is going to talk about me? Or who is going to see me? Because we have a lot of people that don't care. They would say they care, but they really don't care about you. It's like you come for help. That's why sometimes when people are like, oh, I'm glad I opened up to you. I say, yeah, I'm not saying that you should not open up to me, but it takes somebody the courage to find you trustworthy to actually open up to you. I've had men, Nigerian men, on this show that were telling me, please do not say it's my story. And then bingo, online, they request to join and they owned up to their story. That's strength, But as a society, because the leaders that are supposed to teach us about this enable it, you can find out that a woman will go and report her husband that is maltreating her. And then the next thing they tell you is, oh, if you leave, they're gonna be counting men on your head. You marry another one, you marry another one. How long do we want to do that for? Why don't we nip it in the bud and talk about it? So people end up not fixing what they're supposed to fix and then affect some people. It's not everybody that has it. So some are resilient. They bounce back. I'm one of those. But not everyone. And when I say I'm one of those, it's not by my doing. It's God. It's a lie. I don't even know how it happens. We've all been through that. Because either we like it or not, we might have lost a family member. When my brother died, I thought I was going to die too, because he was just like my assistant boyfriend right there. I loved him like crazy. So I would be listening to music and blushing. But we need to know that we all have work to do. So it's not just going to that mosque on Friday and collecting money from people, or talking about people, or just coming in there. Not even some don't even know the sermon to give on those days. They just come in and then bingo, somebody's story is on their head. Then they start talking with it. Is that what religion is all about now? Is that what we should look into? So, I mean, you can say more about that, because I believe with your own field too, you might have seen, lots of all these things going on. Because culturally, even with my job, like I would hear sometimes my own American would say, oh, this is what she's concerned about. After I told her she's not even caring about herself. She's caring about what people will say. Then I'm like, okay, I'm like, oh, geez, if only you know what this woman is going through. It's a culture. But how do we, as people, well, we brought in the church and we brought in the mosque, because that's the main place to nip it in the bud. I believe if all of them come together and if they work with clinicians, work with medical doctors, you don't even have to be just medical doctors. Anyone that has empathy and sympathy can change the world. How much does it cost to love? So we put in more hatred in staining people, and this is why we're getting all this mental health. So I'll leave it on to my doctor to say more.
Well, at least we've mentioned one avenue where we can seek help. Also, the schools. So we have the kids. The kids are the future leaders. So if this is incorporated in their studies, or they get counselors, they get people to tell them how to identify low mood, or when they're getting depressed or mental health symptoms, that could help. So I think we all have a part to play. And basically, it still boils around not judging people. The moment a person doesn't feel judged, they're happy to open up and talk about everything they're experiencing. So, well, this is just basically it. And you don't judge, you're able to diagnose them, and you're able to give them the help they need. And the help they need is just basically for them to identify that they have a mental illness and they need help. So it's like a circle that should be untouched. Yeah.
So I have somebody commented here. Tara Kaut, she said, "Good evening, sis. Well done, and doctor." So here she said they have made people lost faith and their lives. The doctors, the imams, and the pastors. See, so I'm not just blabbing. This is another person saying that here.
Well, it is what it is. It's sad. It's sad. This is how it's happening. It's turning out in our country, Nigeria. So, but I think with your platform, other people doing things, there would be little help. I'm still very positive about what is happening. So we
All right.
have to remain positive. That is it.
So for the people who do not know, because I do know we do have that every day, we do try to talk about depression at on our platform at Sharing Life Issues with Her Excellency Haji Ami. We usually post it on Facebook, WhatsApp. I do know the WhatsApp is strictly by invite only, yes, because we do not just want anyone there. However, we do have the TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Facebook mainly, we do post a lot every day. And there, everybody can write their comments, send things in. We post about that. However, as a medical doctor, I would like you to tell them signs of depression, what signs they should look at to know if something is going on. I know you did make mention of some. However, I just saw that some people just came in. So
Okay, that's fine. I'll say it again.
thank you.
So the most important thing that is always obvious when a person is depressed is the mood. So they tell you, I'm just feeling really low in my mood. So this should be for at least 2 weeks. So it's not like 2 days they're like I felt low in mood, because there's a thin line between being depressed, having an adjustment disorder. So adjustment disorder, I think it rather is common after a bereavement. So if someone loses a loved one, or if someone is going through a divorce and they are trying to live with it, we won't class it as depression. No, you are trying to adjust to the new situation. So that is what it is as it stands. But when you are now struggling to overcome your adjustment disorder, and it's becoming persistent, it's interfering with your day-to-day activities, your concentration is going down, you feel like you have no energy to do anything. So you don't have a goal again. You just wake up, you lay in bed, you have no interest in what you normally enjoy. So these are like the red flags to knowing that yes, someone is really experiencing depression. You have no appetite. And then the one that worries us the most is you start getting thoughts of wanting to harm yourself, or sometimes even harm other people. So in your mind, you're thinking, I need to kill myself. You're actively making plans of, is it by hanging? Will I take an overdose? So you're making the efforts to wanting to, or sometimes you self-harm. So this worries us. And this is when we're like, yes, we need to intervene. So it's with such people, it won't just be only talking therapy, which is like the psychologist. They will need medication to help them push through. So these are the flags of depression.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of food can they take to help them cope with depression sometimes? Like something natural to take.
Oh, I know. So there are studies that say that herbalism, like St. John's wort,
Okay.
does help with depression. This is sold over the counter, and even omega-3 helps with you feeling less suicidal ideations. So these are studies. Potentially, it has worked for some people, but we still always.
Again, again, we have a disclaimer out there. She's not your doctor. I'm not your doctor. I'm not your therapist. But we're just here to help the community. So I'm just putting out a disclaimer so you guys know that. Okay, go ahead.
So people have used these things and they find it useful. So
Okay.
these are things that are sold over the counter and people have found it useful to help. Omega-3 oil, those ones, yeah. And
Okay.
St. John wort is sold over the counter, but they do have side effects. As we know, every medication has a side effect, so you just need to read the box.
Okay. And I think they could, I mean, music sometimes help. You could listen to some music. Some people might say no. I know Islamically, some people will say it's not good to listen to music. It helps me when
So
I
that's
listen
what
to
I'm saying.
it. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. So everyone at some point we use the term I'm depressed.
Right.
But that's what I'm trying to differentiate. There's a line between clinical depression
Right.
and just you feeling depressed and using music. So if you're
Right.
clinically depressed, you won't even want to turn on the radio. You won't
True.
enjoy doing that again. So this is just day to day. When something goes, it doesn't go the way we wanted to go. We're disappointed. We didn't get the job interview. We're like, oh God, I'm feeling depressed. I need
Right.
music. You listen to music, you feel better. That's not depression. Don't get it twisted.
Exactly. That's why I tell people when they send inbox, I'm depressed. I need money. I'm like, that's not depression. I'm like,
No,
this
that's
people,
just
I'm
classic
like,
stress.
this is not depression. If that's depression, me too, my answer don't read. Make I send my answer. Sometimes I'm like, I'll read the messages and I'll laugh sometimes because I'm like, really? You're depressed? This is not depression, you know? But
Yeah.
that was why I brought you here to educate them more about what really depression is, because it's like some people do know it, some people do not know it. And hey, you live in the Western world, I live in the Western world. We both know how expensive it is to even be on the phone talking to somebody to listen to you. That's like having therapy, you know? So it's like not everyone can afford it, because sometimes people do go to the doctor and then they recommend that you do see a therapist or you do take medications. I know Americans pop it out there, and sometimes for the people who say no, they just need somebody to talk to, they give you like a list of the people that you can call to talk
Yes.
to.
Yeah.
So in times like that, I know that I have a lot of Africans that are scared to take the medications, even when you've described that they've reached that zone. But they're like, I don't want to be classified as a crazy person, so I don't want to take no medication because I don't want to start. They feel like when they take the medicine that it makes it higher. So, what do you have to say about that?
So, like, let me use this. So, if you need to swim, you need your two arms, right? You need two
Right,
hands to swim.
right,
So, one hand is medication, and one hand will be the psychologist, which we call the talking therapist. So, if
right,
you get to that stage where your doctor has recommended you taking medication with the therapy, it means we need it to work quickly. We need to give you, so we classify it as the happy pill. So these pills do have side effects. And the thing about them is they don't work immediately. So
right,
actually, in the first 2 weeks you start taking it, you might feel you're actually going down, you're feeling more suicidal. This is the critical period when we start a patient on the pill, we want to see them within 2 weeks because they go down before feeling,
right,
before they start getting happy. So it's what you not feeling that way. So it all depends. So there is Alexander the Great in BC 332. So he went to his doctor with saying he has got fever, right?
right,
Doctor gave him a medication. When
right,
he got back to his castle, wherever, he got a
right.
letter saying the doctor gave him poison.
Oh boy.
So Alexander went back to the doctor, Alexander the Great. He went
Mhm.
back to the doctor, and you know what he did? He took the medication in front of the doctor. So this all still goes back to why I say trust. He trusted his doctor and believed that if I take this medication, I will get better, ignoring what people had said, saying that, oh, this is poison, it will make you fall. So I know we have a part to play. That's why I started off with saying listening is a skill we have to still develop. Either you're a clinician or anyone, having the thing of listening is a good asset. If you can listen to someone, it makes the person trust you. And once they trust you, you see their progress. So this is it basically, and that is just the summary of everything.
Yeah,
So
I took my king stuff to greet you because that's true. Because I've had men that have told me, even women, I am so glad talking to you. I've never opened up to anyone, but I don't even know why I opened up to you, and I feel relieved. You know, I had somebody yesterday. We have, or 2 days ago, we spoke. I interviewed him. He was like, "I'm a broken man," and but then I was talking to him. I said, I feel you're healing already. Because you're, number one, you're a Nigerian man, you're a Muslim man, you're a Hausa guy. Again, I'm not here to condemn any whatever. The last time I checked, I'm Muslim. The last time I checked, I'm also Hausa. I call myself Wazobia, so nobody should come at me and say I'm criticizing anyone. I'm trying to make a point here. So, where are we going? He stated, I feel so okay. I feel so relieved that I've been dying in silence. I almost killed myself because there was nobody to listen. Everybody just tells me, oh, yeah, man, oh, you got married to somebody, you were mumu. You know, why do we always have to say somebody's mumu if they're in love with someone? That's the thing here. That's the stupid thing about some idiots in, in that culture. It's like, so to tell someone I love you, to be real, that's why cheating is now okay. People find cheating as okay and find people in love as sick. Because when you're showing that you're in love, they say it's a lie or she has done in juju. Juju is like voodoo. For the people who don't, I know we have everybody looking from all over the world. So it's like we enable nonsense, and the good things is like we're not talking about it. When I find good stories, I love to share it here too. So it's not like we're only sharing bad stories here. But when I'm talking to people, sometimes it's like the other time I was talking to one of my doctor friends, he's an American too. He goes, when I read your comment section on your platform, I see a lot of sick people sometimes that are not even reading through what is, they're just answering with their mental health. You could tell this person is going through hell. But that's the thing. We don't have to take our anger out on people. The other time too, I brought Hajia up here. She's a wellness person too. She said the same thing. She's like, you go to Lagos, it's like a crazy zone where everybody has mental health issues, but nobody's addressing it. So it's sad. It's like a bingo. Like, when are we going to nip it in the bud as a society? But for me, I think it's because, like you said, somebody has to be a good listener. I've seen people in the family who have told their family that they are depressed, and they told them to, you know, keep quiet. What do you mean depression? Like,
Yeah.
Africans don't believe they're depressed. Africans don't believe. Most Africans, I would say, because I don't want some people to say no. I'm generalizing everyone, because I know that some people do believe in it. But it's like, when you say depression, nobody wants to go there. When you say domestic violence, nobody wants to go there. When you say mental health, but that's what is killing us. And those are the things that need to be addressed, like you said, at the mosque, at the church, because that's the place that people tend to listen. Sometimes when your pastor say go, you go. Imam say go, you go. They say sit, you sit. Well, a medical doctor can give you medication and you're not taking it. Or they could tell you what to do and you're not doing it. Nobody can help you when you're depressed and you're not helping yourself too. So,
Yeah.
with what you've stated, we have a lot of work to do. When it comes to our society, I think you've pinpointed that those two people, the imam, the pastors, we're giving them work to do from now. If they've not been doing it, probably you guys can share the video for them to see it and start talking about things like this. And when it comes to, I believe, domestic violence too, I know that's not what we're talking about, but we can talk about it because it has something to do with depression.
Yeah.
What would you say to the people out there that are going through domestic violence and the people who are out, who just got out of it? However, they're still kind of like scared.
So just one word is a risk factor for depression. So these people at some point need to self-refer themselves to talking therapists that would help them manage their emotions, how to move forward. Because sometimes people feel, I can do this myself. No, you can't. You need to speak to someone to be able to understand your emotions and how to manage it and incorporate it in your day-to-day activities. So shout out there to those people who have survived domestic violence. It's
I
a
give
hard
you
thing to
guys a
go
big
through.
shout out, and I'm getting up to greet you. See, this is like my obashe. I'm a princess, but I love to be called a queen. So I'm greeting all of you. Your queen is greeting you. All the DV survivor, I greet you. It's not easy to speak up because when you do, you sometimes will be victimized. So I'm greeting all of you, women, men, everyone that use their voice, because I have seen a lot of perpetrators come after them for speaking up. And like you said, it's like you know, big clap for them to walk away from there. But is it easy? It's not easy.
No, it's not.
Sometimes I see people write on the comments, "Oh, look at this one until they kill you." When you are going through domestic violence, you don't just think, "Oh, I'm just gonna go." It does not happen that way. With the line of my job, I'll tell you that. Sometimes people would say, or maybe let me make this example. I've seen people who are probably investigators, who are social workers, nurses. When I say all these people, even doctors that are mandated reporters, when they say mandated reporter, you're supposed to report things like this happening. But this is happening to them. Domestic violence is happening to them, and they cannot voice out. And people are like, but you have the strength to do that. Oh no, when it comes to that, it does not happen that way. You might be the bravest person, but doctor has something to say.
No, it's just you need to experience it to be able to understand what people are going through.
Bingo.
If, and
Bingo.
if you're lucky enough not to experience it, you need to
Yeah.
commend these people. Do not judge them and
Thank you.
just give them listening ears. So it still
I
goes back
I
to
had
our
to
listening.
write 2 days ago. I was looking at the comment and I'm like, I had to write, I go slap somebody for that comment section. Because I'm like, somebody came here to tell her story that you guys can learn from. Yeah, she's not saying this is me. I still give anyone a kudos for telling their story. They're not telling their story so you can pity them. They're telling their story so they can save your ass. I said that. But instead of them, looking for ways to tell her, okay, calm down, this is what you're going to do. I'm not saying you have to baby somebody, but at least if you don't have any good thing to say, like my son's teacher would say, shut up, If you don't have anything, waka pass. That's my thing. You don't have anything good to say, you don't have something tangible to say to impact somebody's life, then you move forward. But I find out that Africans, it's always enabling. Then I wrote, what about the perpetrator? Nobody's remembering about the perpetrator. Everybody was like, oh, you saw the red flag. You had baby number one. You went on, had baby number two. But they're not thinking about is the same society that would come at her and say you could not keep her home. I know you're watching me because I know you're online. I saw you online. I'm getting up and I say kudos to you. You're a brave woman. And you did not do anything wrong. You only loved somebody. And the person failed you. So do not make that make you a bitter woman. Take good care of those 3 kids. And the Almighty God will be with you. So I find it so irritating that instead of us helping people, instead of us telling them how they can cope, it's you saw the red flag. Why didn't you boom? No, it does not work that way. Even people in America, where you can even get a restraining order, it's not easy. It's not easy. The other time I was in England with you, when we were just talking about somebody who went to shoot his wife and all that. So it's like, it's everywhere. But people don't think that way. It's like you're with somebody, you're in love, and you don't know that they have another crazy part that you're not even thinking about.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might not know people you're married to. I'm sorry to say, I'll tell you that. Somebody can hide, a narcissist would hide himself or herself. We have them in both ways, men and women. They'll hide themselves to get whatever they need to get before bingo. Because these days, I mean, we read a lot on that platform. People get married to find help sometimes. Sometimes they're just in it to be sleeping around. They try this one, go try that one. So, like with this one's case now, they were like, you're feeding him. I saw people blaming her. Oh, you got pregnant. Number one, you're feeding him. Number two, you also were paying rent. Number three, she was saying that she went to get money from her family. What else do you want women to do? Because I say women because I have to speak for them today. I have men too that are going through hell with their wives. But as a society, as an African society, this is what is causing a lot of depression. Lots of women are going through hell. I have lots of them that I have not even. I looked at the cases yesterday. I was supposed to do a lot of videos and I couldn't. And she was like, "Oh, would you do your video?" I'm like, "Yeah," because I was just gone. Like sometimes you look at things and you're like, "Wow, this person went through this." Sometimes they say you hear another person's story before you thank God for your own. You know?
Yeah.
You know? Then you're like, wow. But it's so sad that all we do is label them, label them, label them. So we as Africans have a lot of work to do. Because I've seen even professionals who are medical doctors, who are clinicians, social workers, that are not really there to listen in the society. It might be even Americans. I'm talking about generally. I'm not saying just Africa. Mm-hmm. And when I pick my people, I'm picking that because I have more statistics or facts on there. That's why I'm saying that. So I'm not just picking on anyone. However, it's so sad that people these days do not work because they like their job. Me with my own job, my boss would say, you're a natural. I see people already gone, but you, it's like you love what you do. Would I say it's not stressful? It is stressful. But I just feel when you're wearing a hat and you feel that's not what you're supposed to be doing, take it off. We all need the paycheck. Yes, we do. But if you're there not really helping people and you're just there for the paycheck and then making people miserable, it's just like you said, you have to be a good listener. If you're not ready to listen to someone, why take that profession? Mm-hmm. If I'm not ready to be a listener, I wouldn't come on this platform and be talking. I'll have been gone maybe since. We've been in existence since over 15 years or whatever, but we opened our group on Facebook last year. It's going to be a year, April 18th, but the Facebook, whatever, I've been in existence since 15 years. So the people that know sharing life, when you say Her Excellency, they already know. However, I cannot even tell you I know this person, but they are my Facebook family that they know me in and out for years. So it takes a little thing to be kind. Because whether we like it or not, we're all visitors here. Someday, we all are going to die. What would we be remembered with? Are we going to be remembered by harming people or helping people? Or what is our aim for really being here? Because I see a lot of people, it's like me, 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 me. And this is what is causing the depression. Because we have people that are thieves, that are making people, stealing people's stuff, that are giving them depression, people that are domestic violence, people that are hitting people all around, the female, the male. We have people that are cheating all around. Somebody posted something and they were like, it rains everywhere. So if you say, it says it rains everywhere. So it's like a woman saying she's going to leave a man the other man is still gonna cheat. When would we stop all this mentality? When? You know, there are lots of STDs there. It's not everybody that wants to sleep with public dick or public pussy. We are all adults here, so I say it as it is. So we have to start thinking. These are the things that are factors that can cause depression too. But people feel let's just do what we gotta do these days. You see, married people, even married women now sleeping on the ground. They'll say another person get boyfriend. The other day somebody was telling me, Abuja is now hot. you know, you get wife to get boyfriend. When did we start all this nonsense? I know about men doing it, but when did women? Then I laughed. I said, even America myself, me self, I go feed points. I even get evidence. I have recordings, I have video. If you want, go see your wife, they do for you. So, of course, now, then we start, they bring them out. Don't worry. When I come back UK, I go show you. I don't want for order. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's like people would say, for better, for worse. But for better, for worse is under another man at night or in the morning. What are we doing? I'm not saying do not do your nonsense, but if you want to do your nonsense, don't put other people, into it. Because whether you like it or not, other people will be affected. Imagine somebody going through that now. They bring disease home. Then the doctor has to worry about that, about their STD. So it's not only you that is worried, your partner is worried, the doctor is worried about how to fix this, and the therapist may be, because somebody is traumatized from your nonsense. So
Yeah.
we have a lot of work to do, because all of these factors are what is causing depression. So I'm gonna leave if you have any other thing to say. If you do not, we'll see if they have questions and then we'll take it from there.
I think you've said it all and we've just wrapped it up nicely. So let's see if they have questions.
Okay, let's see. What can I do if I have a cheating partner and I've been worried that I'm depressed but he's not listening to me?
Okay, so there's something called couple therapy. You can seek that. I think it's self-referral. So talk to your doctor and then they can refer you for counseling. So it's just the word counseling. So you and your partner.
Do they do that in Nigeria?
But let me do what they have counselors in Nigeria, don't they? Counseling?
I believe they do, yeah, because we have a couple of them on my platform. Yeah.
Yeah, so counseling. So it's just the man and woman going together and that is it. So
Okay.
that's what we say couple therapy. That's counseling. Joint therapy, where they make them talk about, okay, maybe the partner is not satisfied with something, so they open up and then come to a common. I think I see it on Nollywood, so they have it in Nigeria. You know, when you watch these African films and they're like, oh,
Right.
we need therapy. This is
Right.
my imagination. I should think so. Yes.
Yeah, I do. Danjuma is on my platform. He's a therapist too. So
Yeah.
probably I could talk to him about that if she wants to talk to him. And
They can
things like
explore that truth. Yeah.
Yeah. Tawakal said, thank you, doctor. And if I'm depressed and do not have money to address it, what do I do? So that's why you have the sharing life. I talk to people, I talk to you guys. So you can definitely, I can answer that, right? You can always call or send a DM, and my PA will give you an appointment and we can talk about whatever you're going through. And we can take it from there.
So that would not be classed as depression. That is more of an acute stress disorder. So it's just something is causing you to feel low. Exactly. If that is sorted, you bounce back. So that's fine.
Exactly. And then if it's not that, then you'd have to go in to see the medical people, whereby, like we just explained before, that we do have a disclaimer here. She's not your doctor. I'm not your therapist. We're just here to help our community, our society, and we call it giving back. We didn't take a kobo or a dime from you guys. We're just giving back. We do appreciate it if you all can join the team also to give back to the society. So you guys can find our link on YouTube, on our YouTube, to our platforms, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. The WhatsApp is not there because WhatsApp has to only be by invite. We have to go through a lot of screenings to have you there. So yes, our WhatsApp people are a little special, I would say, but we're adding more people day by day. So uh, our team always screens, and we'll keep doing that because we love all of you. We love hearing from you, and kindly put all your suggestions down. Some of you always send emails to Sharing Live. The email address is there too. If you have any questions, feel free to put it down below on the comment section. If you like all our videos, give us a thumbs up. And if you do not have any questions, we would like to wrap it up from here. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's my baddest doctor that gave me my palazzo pants. I wanted to wear it today, by the way. Then I was like, hey, I didn't know what top to wear. The top I wanted to wear was looking too sexy. So I was like, nah, this is too hot for the show. Tune it down. I was like,
Thank you.
so
Thank you for having me on the show. Thank you very much. And it
you're
was
welcome. Thank you so much. And we'll take it from there. Have a good one, doctor. Love you.
you too. Take
Bye-bye.
care. Good night, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.